So we're going to get started with our next speaker for the day. As somebody who runs a startup in the restaurant industry, it's been really tough for the last year, seeing over 170,000 restaurants shut down in the United States. Modern dining kind of will never be the same, especially since the way that COVID-19 has impacted the industry as a whole. And our next speaker, Jonathan, has been helping restaurants in St. Paul, helping build restaurant resiliency. He has over 15 years of experience helping modernize restaurant technology. So without further ado, help me welcome Jonathan Banks, who's going to discuss customer obsession and how it creates restaurant resiliency.
Hey, everybody, thanks so much. Thanks to Twin Cities Startup Week. It's nice to be here today. Thanks so much for the introduction. And of course, your company, Tavlo, is bringing some awesome technology that's helping restaurants too. So thank you so much for being a part of that. We'll go ahead and get started with the conversation here today. And I just want to start by talking about the fact that customer loyalty is such a big part of running a restaurant. In fact, it's almost the only part of running a restaurant during COVID. Your customers will abandon you if they don't feel like your friend.
You're looking for a partner to help navigate financial challenges.
There's overwhelming pressure coming from chains and more established, larger establishments that is hard for the neighborhood or community restaurant to stand up against. There's price pressures coming down. One of the worst things you can get involved with is a price battle with a chain that's come to your neighborhood or a larger establishment that's reaching out across town.
We know our customers.
Marketing.
Why they live in.
Larger restaurants can deploy very, very sophisticated marketing campaigns. And that makes a huge difference because they're talking to your customer more than you are. And convenience. It's hard to keep up with an establishment that has the ability to attract and retain a workforce that stays engaged more hours of the day, keeps their hours open, and is more accessible, makes their restaurant more accessible than yours might be. We need to be our customers' best friend. We need to be their friend, and there's 3 ways to do that. 1, you gotta vibe. 2, you gotta inspire, and 3, you've gotta know how to party. Owning the customer relationship is the best way to establish resilience. Imagine feeling like your favorite restaurant is your friend. Imagine feeling like they know what you're thinking, they know what you want, they know what your schedule is without even having to ask you about it, right? This is the intimacy and the engagement that customers are looking for from their restaurants right now. Without strong emotional and communal bonds with your customer, your restaurant will fall victim to chainification and food gentrification. So what are we going to choose? Do we want to choose chainification, food gentrification, and a depleted community because our restaurants have left? And I love bringing this example up that's on the screen here. This is a promotion that's happening right now for Taco Bell. And I call this the What the Heck Is This campaign. They call it the Great Crispy Chicken Sandwich Taco Debate. What is this thing? I look at it, and first I'll admit, I bet it tastes all right, especially late night. It's probably pretty good. But what is this thing? Why are we participating in this debate? Why does a chain like Taco Bell have the ability to talk to customers that could be coming to your community restaurant and start putting this in their mind? What about this? For Mama Grace's El Gordo, do we need to have a debate about this? This is something you can go in your neighborhood and eat right now. Doesn't that look delicious? Through digital enablement, you can serve all of your customers. Let them know you're there. Have that conversation with them. There's 230 people who are watching this Instagram post right here. And if I had more time, I'd be eating after I see this Instagram post more times. Building strong community. Everybody moves to community. When they move to that community, they move there because they'll mention the amenities, the schools, the parks. What else? The restaurants, right? Does Taco Bell build community? No. not the way that Amber Grace's El Gordo does at their 4 locations conveniently listed here on their Instagram post. I'm Jonathan Banks. I'm the president and co-founder of NCXT. There's a convenient little tag on the screen here in case you want to reach out to me. Go ahead and do that. I love to talk restaurants. I love to talk technology. I love to talk customer experience. In fact, I love to talk customer experience. I put CX in the middle of my company's name. I have an academic background from the University of Minnesota and spent several years at the Federal Reserve System. These are some of the companies we work with at NCXT or have worked with. And these are some of the restaurants that we've worked with through our engagement with the city of St. Paul. Well, we've helped more than 50 restaurants with their digital ordering, delivery, and marketing capabilities. We got to obsess about these customers. Let's vibe, let's inspire, and let's party. How do we vibe? Well, let's automate and market to our customers. We know that operators are really busy, right? If you're running one location, you're managing that location. Let's say you're running 4 locations. You are up to your eyeballs in work every day, trying to make sure that the staff is hired, is happy, working, trying to make sure that the ingredients you need and all the goods you need are in supply. You're up to your eyeballs thinking about how am I gonna get customers through the door? Not to mention in this world of a pandemic that we're living in right now as well. What's gonna change next week? There's massive amounts of anxiety on restaurant operators. So let's start considering, how do we expect an operator in your community to do things like remarketing, retargeting, promotions, and send reminders to their customers? It's pretty hard, isn't it? It seems like a little bit much for an operator to take on. With technology, such as the technology used by Snapchat Networking Lounge, they're able to actually do all of those things with a single operator running the show. Now, how does that happen? How does that happen? Well, if a customer comes to their website and decides not to buy anything, the website's smart enough to learn things about that customer. Let's look at this website for a second. Looks pretty nice. Nice graphic. You can see what they have to eat there. Geez, I might want to choose, let's see here, the taco special that they have on the screen, right? I can see it right there and order it as a customer. But what about on the back end of this? Where does the business see the benefit? Well, the business knows that I'm there. The business knows that if I buy something, if I buy that taco platter, that they should send me a promotion to buy more of those. Or they should keep track of other items. If I'm continuing to buy the same thing, the technology can tell them, hey, start introducing offers for other items. This is pretty sophisticated stuff that we usually have a few people on a marketing team working on for us, looking through the analytics, noticing some trends, calling them out, deploying campaigns. The software here is doing it on behalf of the operator. Retargeting. Maybe the customer came from another location, another website, was looking at some burgers there, right? That customer probably has a cookie talking about burgers in their browser. Now they come here, let's talk about burgers. You're looking let's have that conversation. Again, can an operator usually have the ability to do that? No, not if you're a local restaurant in your community. That's hard to do. Promotions. How do we make sure that everybody gets the promotion that they're going to bite on? I hinted at this a little bit earlier, but when you see a customer who's come and purchased something off of your website and you don't see them again, send them a promotion. Do I have time to think about that? Do I have time to track that? No, but I hope my web technology does. Reminders. We want to have our customers come back once. That's great. Twice is better, 3 times is great. But let's think about this year. How many times do we need to have our customer come back this year for us to really find success there? And that means we need to have a way of calling them back. Now, can we really see operators having all the time in the world to go through their list and send out an email to people who haven't been back in the last 3 months? Technology helps with this. And so we gotta vibe with our customers. This is a way of contacting them and letting them know we're thinking about them, having that constant conversation without being enamored with hours and hours of pouring through data and having heightened analytical skills as an operator. We need the technology to help us vibe. So that's number one. Number two, you gotta inspire. And I brought up this example before. Schedule your social media ahead of time. Emigraces El Gordo is great. They're killing it. We help them work on their brand kit and make sure that their brand is consistent across all their social medias, which is important. But they also leverage agency support. So don't put that off the menu for your restaurant. Consider engaging agency support so you can keep inspiring your customers. And the last is use these apps. Like Plan is a really good one. PlanThat.com, a really good app. If you're a restaurant operator, you can go ahead and you can schedule 30 days, 60 days of posts out there. And the good thing about that is it's a lot easier to sit 2 hours aside to schedule a whole bunch of posts as opposed to trying to do something every day on and on and on like an agency might do. Party. This one is the best one, I think. We all want to show up at a party and see friends we know, right? And the people that we see on the screen here, Sharon Richard Knowles and Matt Zanetti, did a really great job of this last year. 2 separate businesses, West Indies Soul Food, Lake Monster Brewing, getting together and partying in the same location. If I'm Sharon's customer and I show up to Matt's location and I see Sharon there, I'm like, I'm so glad you're here. What's been going on? I haven't seen you for a while. It's so nice to see you. What do you got today? What's new? I get to catch up with my friend at the party, right? These are the types of connections that we have to be making in this world. When we finally get customers to come outside of their homes and feel safe coming out, make sure that you're seen. Be where your customers are gonna go. Be present where they are. Move around, right? There's examples of brick and mortar restaurants converting to food trucks, right? That's something that happened so we could move around and go to where our customers are. Be at the party. And be spontaneous, right? You want to be consistent, have your website that's always on, always be able to fulfill that carry-out or delivery order. But guess what? You want to pop up in unexpected places too. You want to be that familiar face. It's about being that friend to your customer. And this is the customer obsession that we're talking about. It's just like you would endear one of your good friends, right? Even though you're not with them, you're thinking about them. Even though you're not doing something for them, you're thinking about what you might do for them in the future. And customers appreciate this. There's a very, very fine line that customers need to have crossed before they're going for that crispy chicken taco sandwich, right? And we don't want to let them go there, not no way, not no how. So here's what I'm asking you all to do. I want everybody who has a favorite restaurant to talk to them. I want you to talk to your favorite restaurant and tell them you want to be their friend. Tell them, I want to hear from you. I want to know about your promotions, and I want to see you everywhere I go. I'm sick of these Taco Bell ads showing up everywhere. I want to see yours. Get these into my feed. I sit around my house, I'm wondering what I'm going to eat tonight. How did I forget to call my best friend? Imagine this. Imagine having a restaurant that seems like they're your best friend. That knows what's on your mind without you ever having to ask. Tell your favorite restaurant that you want to hear from them. They will listen to you a lot more than they'll listen to me. If they hear it from their customers, they're going to do it. You'll start getting those promotions in your inbox. They're going to show up on your feed. You're going to see them at every party that you go to. Thanks so much for joining Twin City Startup Week and this presentation here today. And go and tell your favorite restaurant that you want to hear from them. Thank you. And I'm open to take some questions here for sure. I'd love to talk about any of the technologies here, or any restaurants, or where I should go eat tonight. Go ahead, right here. Oh, there's a mic coming to you.
Yeah, for me, that has a company that works with providing online ordering solutions for restaurants and concessions in
That's awesome.
in event centers and
What's your company's name?
Sit. And how do I get in contact, or how do I find these restaurants to provide them those solutions? Because on our platform, we also advertise them and generate more revenues for them.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, you're looking to target restaurants as your customers?
Yeah, more like concessions, restaurants, and like live events and arenas.
Okay, so we want to find restaurants who do concessions and live events. Okay, and we want to target them to be your customers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. So it kind of depends on the technology stack that you're working with right now. There's a tool set that we've used. I'll just drop it right here because you're asking, called Seamless AI, which is pretty good just for filtering through a whole bunch of contacts and who does what and what their restaurant's about. That's a good one to use. I would say a more endearing and probably a more fruitful way to go about it is actually getting involved with the communities in which you want to establish your business. And so being connected with neighborhood associations, being connected with business associations, being in touch with what the problems are in that municipality are really huge. Always speaking to the problem of the community and the restaurants that are there. You're gonna hear a lot about the problems a lot sooner from the restaurants than you're gonna hear about it from anyone else. So if you can get involved with those business associations, get closer to the restaurants, that's a great way to start building up a list of prospective restaurants that you might be able to work with or might want your product. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, if we have any more questions, I can take them.
I got a couple of questions, Jonathan.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I know we got a few, well, we have some time until our next speaker, so we can just have a discussion about, I would love to learn more about Next and what kinds of restaurants that you guys work with. Is it more fast casual, full scale, fine dining, or do you guys specialize in anything like that?
We work mostly with restaurants that have 4 or fewer locations. So we're really looking at kind of more of a community or neighborhood-based restaurant.
Yeah.
Those tend to be becoming more fast casual. So not as much in the fine dining, but more fast casual. And I think my vision for working with restaurants is really community impact.
Yeah.
So like what I talked about a little bit here, and what I talked about more of in an earlier presentation, was about this digital enablement of spaces, right? And I think restaurant spaces touch all of us, right? And so imagine being able to go to a neighborhood and know that this neighborhood is really good for curbside pickup.
Yeah.
Like when I order from any restaurant here, it's like so easy.
Yeah.
And that being like the digital brand of the neighborhood. So that's where we focus when we're kind of going at the question about where do you look for restaurants to work with? We want to work with restaurants to really see that community impact and digitally enabling, many restaurants at the same time in a close area.
Yeah. And what kinds of platforms have you seen like the most adopted over like the last, year or so since COVID hit restaurants? Are you seeing a lot more like delivery happening, a lot more like pickup, a lot more dine-in now that, some restaurants have started to open up? Yeah, what have you noticed?
Yeah, so a mix of everything, and I think it depends on who the restaurant's customers are. And they've been pretty, they've had a good ear and been listening pretty well. And so you've seen a lot of restaurants who have put more into their carry-out experience, their takeout experience, and just left anything delivery to the DoorDashes, whatever, that's second.
Yeah.
You've seen the reverse of that as well, where where folks have hired their own drivers and things of that nature to try to push their own delivery
Yeah.
to be more effective. Some brands I've seen really pick up, Toast is one of them. Square's continued to expand in the market because they already had a good footing, had a good sales team, had a good process, and were able to expand a lot more. Upserve is another one that's riding on some legacy, shoulders of legacy that's pushing them forward as well.
Yeah, super cool. Well, everybody, give another round of applause.
One more question from the virtual audience. Nalini asks, what is the dollar value of a happy restaurant work staff and the mental wellness of those cooking for us?
Oh, snap. That's a great question that I don't have an answer for, but so the dollar value of the staff, if we could take a second to talk about this, right? Workforce is a huge issue right now. It's a huge issue for people who are trying to work and a huge issue for people who are trying to hire people to work. It seems like we're in a place where the benefits of spending your time working don't always match up with the rewards that you receive for doing that, or the compensation that you receive for doing that. Restaurant workers work some of the craziest hours in some of the most highest risk situations with some of the craziest people coming to the restaurant too. So anything we can do to, as customers, to be their friend, right, is worthwhile, and it's worth every dollar that we put into that, because those people are just really kicking butt out there and putting it on the line. It's a hard job to do, and they need and deserve support from the people who they're serving.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there any other questions? Anybody in the audience or virtually? Awesome. Well, everybody give a round of applause to Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.